Harry Reid sat down with Chris Hayes of MSNBC, and he explains why he thinks Hillary lost, and it's sad.
Did that happen? Did the Clinton campaign not pay enough attention to rural America?
You know, it's easy to second guess what Hillary did. I love Hillary Clinton. I'm sorry she lost. I did everything I could to help. And, you know, I could go through a litany of things. There's no question in my mind. She would have won this election without any problem if Comey had not been the Republican operative that he is. For example...
Those are strong words, Senator.
But I believe it. He came out against what the Attorney General had recommended, against what common sense dictates. He is the reason she lost the elections. So you want one reason? That's it. Comey, he can be fat and happy in his office there for 7 more years after having thrown an election to Donald Trump. And if he feels good about that, that's nice.
They have to stop with this absurd myth. This is just as stupid as the Republicans who said after the 2012 election, oh, the reason why Obama won is because him and Chris Christie hugged each other after Hurricane Sandy when Obama went to New Jersey. You remember that? All the people on the right were blaming the election loss on Chris Christie because when Obama got off the plane, they hugged and they said, oh my goodness, this makes Obama look like a great bipartisan president who cares about the people, who shows up after a terrible hurricane and a disaster. And that's why, I'm telling you, that's why Romney lost, is because fucking Chris Christie stabbed him in the back. Now, everybody on the left, when that narrative came out, we laughed. We're like, are you fucking kidding me? Mitt Romney lost because he's Mitt Romney. He's deeply unlikable. He's not trustworthy. He's a corporate robot. He sounds like he's never said a sincere thing in his entire life. He ran a bad campaign. That's why he lost. Well, now the Democrats are doing the same fucking thing. Oh, you know, Comey and the email scandal, I mean, that's the issue. So for those of you who didn't follow the timeline here, let me explain to you why this is utter bullshit. So, what was it, like 2 weeks before the election, you had James Comey come out and say, oh, well, we have more Hillary Clinton emails that may or may not be new, but we're looking into them because we found them in relation to an unrelated case. It was Anthony Weiner and the fact that he's fucking sexting like 92% of the planet. So they were looking through his emails. They found Huma's emails and Huma's emails with Hillary Clinton, and they wanted to go through it again. Oh, let's make sure we didn't miss any emails. So they did this big announcement, or, you know, he wrote a letter and then it got out in the media and everybody said, oh, they reopened the case. Well, fast forward, it was like 2 or 3 days before the election, Comey came out again and said, oh, yeah, there's nothing here. She's cleared. Now, why does fucking Harry Reid and every other partisan hack Democrat leave that out? They leave it out because it doesn't fit the narrative. Now, not only did Comey clear Hillary again a few days before the election, there was a bump in the polls for her. It was a tangible bump. I remember the morning of the election going, oh, look at that. Her poll numbers bounced back up. So she was up like 2 points, and then Comey said, oh, she's cleared. Bounced back up, and she was up about 4 points on average. So if anything, the argument is in the other direction, that James Comey, at the end, helped her by clearing her again. And the Republicans were furious. And if Donald Trump had lost, they would have blamed it on that. Like, oh, okay, yeah, the problem is that Comey cleared her. If Comey didn't clear her 2 days before the election, well then, you know, Trump would have won. That's what they would have said. But Harry Reid, they just leave out, all these hack Democrats just leave out that Comey cleared her again. There was a bump in the polls again, but they go, no, the problem is that a few weeks before the election, they said again about the emails. Hillary Clinton lost because she's Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton is the quintessential insider. She is the epitome of the establishment. She even argued America's already great. You know, I'm going to keep us on the same path. I'm going to continue Obama's legacy. Now, look, behind the scenes, I guess there was an argument to make there because Obama had a 58% approval rating. He still has a super high approval rating. So they looked at that and they made a calculation and they said, you know what, let's just go with that argument. But what they're missing is, so yes, people like Obama, and yes, Obama's done a bunch of good things, and yes, the unemployment rate is much lower than it was when Bush took office and he stabilized everything. That's all true. But poverty is rising. Middle-class wages are stagnant. Higher-paying jobs were replaced with lower-paying jobs. crisis of globalization and neoliberalism has made it so people feel hopeless. NAFTA and the trade deals shipping out these middle-class jobs. And she didn't understand the anger because that's not her world. She doesn't live in a town in Ohio that was decimated by these trade deals that ship jobs overseas. So she was disconnected from it. So she lost because she couldn't tap into that. Because she is aloof. And she is a part of the Washington insider circle. So they don't understand that, and Harry Reid certainly doesn't wrap his mind around this, that people didn't like Hillary Clinton because she voted for the Iraq War, she voted for the Patriot Act, her husband signed NAFTA, she supported TPP and pushed for it 45 times before she came out against it. She supported deregulation of Wall Street. She took hundreds of thousands of dollars from, Goldman Sachs and other financial firms, and of course she's going to return the favor. The Clinton Foundation, people laughed at the idea of the Clinton Foundation being a scandal. Ha 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 ha, that's hilarious. They do some good work in some places around the world. Yes, but you're fucking dodging the point that people are making. People aren't saying the Clinton Foundation does no good. People are saying, hey, is there pay-to-play corruption going on? So, yes, there's no denying that if you get $1 million influx into your charity, you can do some good work. Where did that $1 million come from? Oh, look at that. It came from Qatar, a country that treats women like second-class citizens. Oh, look, millions of dollars came from Saudi Arabia. They say all atheists are terrorists. They don't let women drive cars. They behead people in the square, the public square for sorcery and witchcraft and drug smuggling. They bomb people to smithereens, civilians in Yemen. So, yes, the money did some good, but what happens in return? Well, turns out Bill Clinton got money and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton approved weapons deals for them. Gave them weapons that they then turned around and used to kill civilians. This is why people don't like Hillary Clinton. Because they know she's cutting some gross backroom deals. They know she's corrupt. They know she's an insider. But of course, to make themselves feel better, what do the establishment Democrats do? It's all deflection. Deflection and rationalization. It can't be Hillary Clinton's fault that she lost the election. It can't be her wing of the party's fault, the establishment Democrats, that wing of the party's fault that she lost the election. It must be the Bernie bros' fault. It must be everybody on Trump's side is a racist and a sexist and a xenophobe and a bigot. It must be James Comey. It must be anything, media, anything and everything. Blame anything and everything but her. Well, look, Harry, I'm here to tell you, it is her fault. She was a bad candidate. She had higher untrustworthy numbers than Donald Trump. Donald Trump, a guy who went bankrupt 6 times as he campaigned on being a great businessman. People said that guy is more trustworthy than Hillary fucking Clinton. Again, whose fault is that? You were given a fucking gift in this hilarious candidate with 63% unfavorable ratings. And you couldn't win. You couldn't win. I mean, what does that say about her? That says a lot about her, and you're unwilling to look in the mirror and acknowledge it. You're just shoving your head in the sand, and you want to go right back to doing the terrible things you were doing before. And I'm not saying this because I hate these people. I'm saying this because I care about the future of the Democratic Party and the country. Because if the Democratic Party doesn't get their act together, then what's going to happen? We already have Republicans controlling a majority of state legislatures, a majority of governorships, a majority in the House of Representatives, a majority in the Senate, and the presidency. They control everything. If the Democratic Party doesn't get their act together, they're going to run roughshod. They're already going to run roughshod. And you made that bet, and now you're sleeping in it, and you're refusing to acknowledge the role that you played and the establishment Democrats played in creating this monster that is Donald Trump. It's really pathetic to watch. Stop blaming James Comey. Look in the goddamn mirror, because that's where the real problem is.